Well, good morning, Red Shirt Patriots. You all know who I am, and Dick said he's going to keep parading me up here until I get this right, so I guess we're going to have a long relationship. Anyway, would you like to give you a welcome to the 348th consecutive Friday meeting of the East Valley Red Friday Patriots. Thanks to each of you. Yeah. Thanks to each of you for sharing this morning with us and showing your support for America's deployed warriors. We're sincerely grateful for that support. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I do not have any bio sheets this morning telling me that there are any new guests this morning, but I'm going to ask the question just so I don't miss anyone. Is there anyone that's here today for the first time? If you are, please stand. If not, I dodged that bullet. That's great. Thank you very much. This morning, we're very pleased to have as our guest speaker Mr. Anthony Anger. Yes, Anger is his last name. Anthony prefers to be called by his nickname Tony, but in my research, I've also learned that Tony has another moniker that he might respond to, and that's T-Bone. Now, I have absolutely no clue how Tony was tagged with T-Bone, but I would be willing to bet that was from his flight training days, and that might be a story in and of itself. Tony studied aviation management at George Mason University, as well as history, geography, and international business and economics. George Mason is the largest four-year public university in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He began his flying career alongside his father, performing in air shows with the All-American Barnstorming Air Shows featuring wing walking, parachuting, aerobatic acts, and other aviation feats. Tony spent 16 years flying air shows before transitioning to the airlines, where he flew for several carriers and ultimately retired from American Airlines after a 32-year career. 10 years ago, in 2016, Tony founded Ground No More Veteran Flight Lift, a Christian ministry dedicated to honoring veterans through flight. The ministry provides veterans with an honor flight experience aboard Amazing Grace II, a 1942 Boeing Stearman World War II training aircraft. To date, Tony and his dedicated team of volunteers have flown more than 725 veterans in this historic aircraft operating out of Falcon Field in Mesa. Tony and his wife Karen live in Queen Creek and plan to keep this ministry flying for many years to come. Today, Tony will provide a comprehensive overview on this spectacular organization, Grounded No More Veteran Flight Lift. Tony, we welcome you again to our East Valley Red Friday Patriots Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Anger.
Test, test. Hey, how's everybody doing? Do you want to hear the T-Bone story or not? So it has nothing to do with aviation. Anybody ever see the movie Remember the Titans? Okay, that's where I went to high school, at T.C. Williams High School. And I was an 11th grader when the movie came out, so I knew all those people. But I can tell you a lot of stuff that the movie left out. It was pretty funny. Anyway, the name T-Bone came. I was a running back, believe it or not, and I was doing a left-end pitch out. And I probably seen this that last Seattle game where the guys were yanking the balls out of the guy's hand. And that's what happened to me. A guy yanked the ball out of my hand. I chased him down, and I T-boned him, and I broke his back. So we're still friends, believe it or not. He went to Washington Lee. That was our biggest thing. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Grounded No More. I'm going to read it because I tend to go off the line if I don't. So this is a story of faith, flight, and freedom. Grounded No More Veteran Flight Lift began in March of 2016, and quite accidentally, it was all by accident. During my career, as we said earlier, I was a commercial airline pilot for American Airlines. Started with America West, and then U.S. Air, and then American Airlines. And I also flew as co-pilot on the B-17 out at the CAF, Sentimental Journey. And one afternoon, a young Army private came out just came back from Iraq. He wanted to take a ride in the B-17, and he wanted to honor his grandfather, who had flown those aircraft during World War II. He was very, very excited about it. And while the young man was deployed in Iraq, his grandfather passed away, and he never got to attend the funeral. And since his grandfather was a B-17 pilot, this was going to be his way to memorialize his grandfather. It was a great story. He had his logbook, he had his wings with him and everything else, and he was very excited, full of anticipation, and there was one problem. He had read the ad wrong, and he thought the flight cost $42.50, and when he found out the actual price was $425, the poor kid about passed out. I watched the excitement just, turn into embarrassment, and he quietly just kind of turned and walked away, and I kind of felt God tapping me on the shoulder saying, you got to do something about that. And I had just purchased a PT-23. It was a Fairchild trainer during World War II. Mine was used by the British up in Saskatchewan. And anyway, I said, hey, do you want to go for a ride in an airplane that your grandfather learned how to fly in? And he goes, well, how much is that? And I go, nothing. I was just going to go fly. I'll take you with me. And, it was just one of those moments where, I was overwhelmed by this kid. And we got back to my hangar, and we talked for probably an hour or so, had a couple of beers, laughed and cried. And it was just wonderful hearing his story. And, I went home that afternoon, and I was just overwhelmed with emotion. And my wife, Karen, and I talked about it. We prayed about it and kind of realized that God was calling us to do something bigger. And the ministry dedicated to giving our veterans and active duty service members a day that they would never forget. That was the day it happened. That first year alone, I flew nearly 100 veterans in that first aircraft, the PT-26. And after I retired from American Airlines, actually I say they fired me on my 65th birthday, but unfortunately that's the way it is. But anyway, we wanted to make sure the mission continued, and I went out and I got online and looked into forming a 501c3, and we called it a Christian Veteran Ministry, and called it just Grounded No More Incorporated, and we got approved the very first time I tried, and from what I hear, that's pretty hard to do, so especially during that administration that was in power back in those days, which I won't get into that. So Amazing Grace, our original trainer, was built in 1943 in Hagerstown, Maryland, and though it was it was originally paid for by the RAF, and it served in the Royal Canadian Air Force. It served there for, I think it went to Saskatchewan, Neepawa, Manitoba, and then ended up back in the United States. So it flew for all three services during the war, and retired in 1950, believe it or not. So it actually flew for the RAF, the RCAF, the Army Air Corps, and the U.S. Air Force. And it sold surplus in 1950 for $316 and a full tank of gas. Nowadays, that airplane's worth about $85,000. Anyway, we flew that first, so with that airplane, we actually flew 652 veterans. And as I said, sadly, she's currently grounded. She has some structural problems with the wing. The airplane is made primarily out of wood. And unfortunately, finding people that know how to work on a 80-year-old airplane that's made out of wood is kind of hard to do, plus finding the wood. So we found the wood to fix it. It was $12,000 just for the wood, and the cheapest maintenance that I could find to rebuild the airplane was about $150,000 to $250,000, which didn't make a whole lot of sense for a 80-year-old airplane. It was only worth $80,000 to begin with. So anyway, we always say God provides, and I searched for another. We had a spare airplane, but we searched for another airplane that was a World War II airplane, and one of my friends happened to come by. He saw the situation we're in, excuse me, and he had a steerman. He just bought another airplane that was a biplane, an N3N, and he had a steerman that I had seen before, and he gave me an unbelievable price for it. So that's Amazing Grace 2, and that's the biplane. I don't know if I haven't been watching this, so I'm not sure if the pictures are going up. But anyway, my steerman now is a 1942 Boeing steerman. It was built by Boeing in 1942. I don't have a whole lot of records for it. It was we know it was built in Wichita, probably used by the Navy in Pensacola, and then after that it went to Mississippi and became a crop duster for 30 years, and then a gentleman in California bought the airplane restored it back to its original condition. So it's got the original style paint job, original engine, original, everything's original other than just the paint and the fabric. But it's absolutely amazing airplane, so much fun to fly. And that's the one we've been using. We also have a backup aircraft called a IAR-823. That one we started because we wanted to start taking up Gold Star families because it's a four-place airplane, so I can take 3 people at a time. This one was built in the mid-'70s. Mine was built in 1977. And during the Cold War, it was used as a fighter bomber trainer. And then it ended up in Angola as a frontline attack aircraft. So it actually has hard points under the wing for a Gatling gun and a set of rockets on the other side. So if anybody knows how to build that stuff, let me know, because I would love to put that on there. I think we'd have a lot of fun strafing ice demonstrators or something. Anyway, I didn't say that. During the Cold War, so now that aircraft flies for us, but for peace, carrying veterans and the Gold Star families. So there's a lot of good news out there. We found some interesting things with this organization. One of the guys on my board of directors is Josh Griesel. He runs Deep Sea Valkyries, and they do a big PTSD program where they take a group of about 30 out and teach them how to sail, teach them how to fish, and they also get them scuba licenses. And he's actually very, I think he's got 2 Purple Hearts, did a lot of combat stuff in Iraq and in Afghanistan. So he's a great guy for me to learn all this stuff. I was in a guard unit. I originally was supposed to be a pilot on the F-4, and they canceled my class, and I waited till I got out of college to join, and they canceled my class when I was too old for the next one. And about that time, somebody put their hand on my shoulder and said, "Hey, I saw you did some NTSB work. We could really use an accident investigator," which was the absolute worst job in the world. But the only thing Jimmy Carter ever did good was he riffed me. So I was happy. I was happy about that. Anyway, but it's also one of the reasons I like doing stuff for you guys, because, you know, the veterans that serve this country are just always been my heroes. My dad was a Navy guy in World War II, and he was just one of those guys that never talked about it. I'm sure you know some World War II guys, and they never talked about it. I did hear that the girls in the Philippines were very friendly. That was about all he ever talked about. Anyway, this is some of the hope that we've seen, you know, that I might have got my pages mixed up here. Let me make sure I did. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we found out. So our mission is very simple. It's just to touch lives. Veterans are the lifeblood of this country, and without them, we could not enjoy the freedoms that we have today. They fought so that we could live normal lives, and they set the standard for what America stands for the past, present, and the future. Grounded No More, we don't just offer a free flight, we offer a moment of peace, a moment where if only the duration of the flight or the weight of the war can kind of fade away. Each flight is a journey into history, a time of prayer, and a view of this beautiful world that God created for us. The reality that veterans face, you know, we just want to, I know most of you know this, I know we have some non-veterans here, but it's very important. The need is real and urgent, because 94% of our veterans know somebody that's died by suicide. 88% feel they've lost their sense of community. 83% experience moral guilt during their service. And 77% struggle to forgive themselves. The veteran suicide rate is over 4 times our national average. 22 veterans per day die by suicide and 41 attempt it. Of the 4.3 million war on terror veterans, 900,000 struggle with PTSD and more than 250,000 battle substance abuse. And these numbers are heartbreaking, and they are the worst of any returning generation. There is hope. 88% believe the moral injury can heal over time, and 100% of our veterans smile and forget the pain, if only briefly, after a flight in Amazing Grace. In nearly 10 years, Grounded No More has flown over 730 veterans. The smiles that we see when they land can light up the entire airport. We had the honor of flying some heroes like Gene Metcalf, a survivor of Operation Market Garden. He's now 102. If you're in Fountain Hills, be careful, because he still drives. he's become a really good friend. I took him up on his 94th birthday, and I think again on his 100th birthday. Jack Holder, as I'm sure most of you met him or know him, a Pearl Harbor survivor who flew with us on his 100th birthday. And he called me up when he was 101. He says, I want to go for my 101st birthday because I like going for a flight every year. And back in those days, I still had the Amazing Grace 1, the original with a canopy. He said, I want to fly in an open cockpit. So I called my friend Mike Doyle, who runs a program out there too. And he took him up in his Stearman. It was about this time of the year. And we said, we're going to fly for about 40 minutes, take a picture and take some video and come back down, have a little celebration for your birthday. We're about 20 minutes into the flight, and I'm in a closed cockpit, and I'm freezing. And all of a sudden, I hear Jack on the radio. Can we go back now? I'm cold. so we were like, absolutely. So we went back and celebrated a little bit. I was amazed to see a 101-year-old drink that much scotch, but it was fun. So anyway, one of the other guys we took up was Colonel Richard Tolliver. He's the president of the local Tuskegee Airmen chapter. He was an amazing guy. And you all know Tom Collins. We took Tom up. He was the longest-held POW in U.S. history. He wrote and he talked to us, called me all the time, and wrote to me regularly until he passed. He just said these flights changed his life. And you can imagine if something this fun that we can do. And the one thing you've noticed is PTSD comes from an adrenaline rush, and it's usually something very negative. Mine are all self-inflicted from racing motorcycles, and doing air shows. But the flight in the airplane, we don't do any aerobatics or anything, but I do some wing overs and do some tight turns so they can feel the G-forces that the pilots would feel. And if you've never done that before, the adrenaline rush is amazing. And people just really respond to it. I've had several people call me up, tell me it changed their lives. I had one lady call me up. We took her husband up 3 years ago. He was a Vietnam vet, mid-60s, and didn't want to talk about anything in the military. He just wanted to go for a ride in the airplane. And came down from Minnesota, went back up, and his wife called me a week later. She goes, I don't know what you did, but he has not stopped talking. So I've been married to this guy for 40 years. I've never heard so much come out of him. So it's very healing, you guys know when you're around each other, it's a lot easier to talk than when you're with people that have never been around or in the military. So our goal is to provide a fun, safe, and meaningful day for our veterans and their families. We pray with them. We give God the glory for our freedom. We ask God to bless them for their courage, their honor, sacrifice, and service. But most importantly, we make sure that they know that they are loved, appreciated, and thanked. As Abraham Lincoln once said, and I quote, honor the soldier and the sailor everywhere who bravely bears this country's cause. He didn't know about the Air Force, I guess. He says, honor also the citizen who cares for his brother in the field and service as best as he can the same cause. With the support of our volunteers and our community, we have 4,000 members now, and I started this just by myself. We have a board of directors of 5, and we have probably 30 volunteers that come out every week to help with this ride. But with the support of these people and our community, we pray that Grounded No More Veteran Flight Lift will continue for many, many years to come. And thank you all for allowing me to share this story with you today. So, quick story about Ted. Ted was a flight attendant for America West when I was a captain there. And he comes up to the cockpit one day and he said, you don't see it in the movie, but he lost a leg. So he's got a prosthesis from his knee down on one of his legs. He comes up to the cockpit and he says, sorry, Captain, no cute girls today. You're stuck with me and my 2 buddies. And I said, oh, that's okay. I said, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm married, so I don't care. And he just kind of laughed. And he turned around and walked away, and I just happened to turn around and watch him. He had his leg on backwards. And I said, come back up here. You and I are going to be best friends. And We've been great friends for over 35 years. I didn't have the video today with that, but Ted was also our 700th flight in Amazing Grace 2. So if you guys want to sign up for a flight, we're pretty full this year. But like I said, we also have the other airplanes, so we offer that if you want to take somebody with you. So that's always a lot of fun. We have a couple of people that have come out that said their wife was terrified. They want to go with us. And I'm like, well, if she's terrified, why does she want to go? He says, well, I just want to be with her. And I always tease my wife because my wife's a flight attendant for United and, of course, flies all the time with me everywhere we go. And they have this program for wives of pilots. It's called the Pitch Hitter program, and they teach you how to land the airplane. That's all they teach you how to do is land the airplane. And I said, do you want to do that? And she says, I don't know. I think if you go, I'd rather go with you. And I go, well, what if you change your mind on the way down? So she's going to take the course here this year. Anyway, our website's on the back. If you'd like to sign up for a flight, just go to the website and give me a little information about your background. And also, please put your phone number on there. I think we changed it on the website now where it says because people will send me emails and I'll send them an email, and of course it ends up in spam, and I never hear from them. And 3 years later, I signed up for a ride 3 years ago, and you never called me. So,
Tony, thanks an awful lot for a great presentation. I know you've been here before. We'd like to present you with a custom Red Friday logo pin.
Oh, very nice. Thank you very much.
I'm going to pin it on.
Oh, okay.
Right here. Looks
And
good.
just pound it.
I've had that happen.
Yes.
So you're welcome back. Anytime. You're only in Queen Creek. You can come back.
Oh, yeah, you're 10 minutes away. It was great.
Yeah. So we'll see you next Friday.
I don't know. I got to look at my schedule. I was happily retired for 6 months until my wife told me I wasn't.
Tony, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Ted.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
everybody. God bless everybody, and welcome home.
Can I have a hooah for Tony? I've got a couple of announcements this morning. First thing I would like to do is tell you that Philip Todd still has his concert on February 5th, and he still has seats for the 6 p.m. concert. So if you're interested, there's a flyer up here. Give you a little bit of information about it. I think, Dick, you said there's about 40 seats left. The other concert, the 3 p.m., is completely filled. So if you're interested, please take a look at this and go and enjoy yourself. As stated last Friday, we're taking orders for both long and short sleeve shirts in white, blue, and black colors, or the traditional red. Barry McDonald is preparing to receive new orders following the meeting today, so get with Barry and complete the order forms. Also, we have guest speakers scheduled thus far for each Friday through March. We only ask that you please do your best to attend our assemblies and support them. By the way, I'm confident you will enjoy next Friday's speaker, who is flying in from out of state to join us. Last week we announced that on Friday, February 13th, members of the Dutton Family Entertainers will join us right here in the dining hall. As many of you know, the Duttons perform at Branson's as well as here in Mesa. They will be joining us to promote their shows here in Mesa and Branson, provide us a little background about their family and their support for the veteran community, and maybe, just maybe, they might sing a couple of songs for us. I think we'll enjoy their visit, so please plan on attending the 13th of February. To our guests, thank you for joining us today. We sincerely hope you'll return to share our camaraderie and support our mission. Please know that you're always welcome at our Red Friday meetings. As a final reminder, let's not overlook the importance of our Red Friday mission: to keep our deployed warfighters in our thoughts and prayers and continue to demonstrate our support for those fine men and women. Enjoy your weekend.